My name is Vladimir Uskov, and today I'm proud to make an invited presentation entitled Advances in Smart Pedagogy. And this is the series, a part of KES International series of talks on different advanced topics. So first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm a professional educator at higher education from 1980, and I had different positions as instructor, assistant professor, associate professor, full professor in different countries, such as Russia, Germany, France, the Netherlands, Italy, Japan, and for the most recent 26 years, I work in the United States, and I worked at Michigan State University, University of Cincinnati, and for 22 years, I'm at the university, at Bradley University. I'm also the director of the Interlabs Research Institute at the same university, and from 2014, we have, I believe, a definitely win-win, mutually beneficial collaboration with KES International. So I'm the general chair of the Smart Education and e-learning. So we also publish, actively publish our research outcomes. And one of the relevant books is given here on Smart Universities, published in 2018. And in the most recent 7 years, we publish actually this number of books edited. These are the proceedings of our conference on smart education and e-learning. So for those of you who are interested in specific topics of smart education, smart pedagogy, smart classrooms, smart universities, then you are very welcome to visit publication or our publications, or to at least let me know. I would be more than happy to help you to find the corresponding relevant publications in the provide you with the references to the different specialists in the designated areas. I present, as I told you, for 22 years, I work at Bradley University, and it is located in the central Illinois. So basically, we are not far from Chicago, from the Indianapolis, from the St. Louis. And this is like a hub of multiple universities. For example, the well-known Urbana-Champaign University, the University of Chicago are not far from us. Our university is a private university. These are some pictures from our university. We have 5 colleges, about 6,000 students, including 1,000 graduate students. Altogether from across the United States and about 30-35 countries. And in terms of smart education, smart classrooms, then we have created about 12 smart classrooms in the most recent 7 years. So the agenda of my presentation is given on this slide, and I would like to talk about motivation, the concepts, at least our approach to smart pedagogy, best practices and research outcomes, at least that we got in our research projects, faculty and smart pedagogy, as well as proposals for collaboration. And I would like to mention here that it is not scientific research focused presentation. In this presentation, in the KES talk, I want to address the more broader audience and to tell you in the more generic terms about the advances in smart pedagogy. So first of all, the motivation. So why do we need to improve education, to improve a set of methods to educate students, college and university students? And set of methods, basically, it is a pedagogy. So why do we need to use the modern technology in order to improve the education and pedagogy? So first of all, students in college, different types of university and college students. So of course, those who are in higher education for many years know that there are the well-motivated students, enthusiastic, dynamic students, and students who are not so well motivated. However, even among the dynamic, enthusiastic students, very optimistic learners, so we need to understand which pedagogy, which learning and teaching strategy is the best. Why? Because in accordance with the recent research, so the learning styles, different students have favorite learning styles, different learning styles. For example, probably the students in computer science, probably their learning style is what we call logical, mathematical favorite style. So students probably in some kind of political science or history, probably they like actually more the interpersonal learning style, probably again. So, but again, there are different styles such as logical, mathematical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, linguistic, spatial, and other styles. So this tells us that we need to identify approaches, learning, teaching approaches, strategies that are best for specific student or group of students. And we need to use their favorite learning styles. On the other hand, talking about different groups of types of students, everybody knows that we have different generation of students, like baby boomers, generation X, generation Y, generation Z. So the result, somebody like web technology better than some students like smartphones and mobile technology better. Somebody likes still, for example, chalk and blackboard technology. Again, in order to provide the most effective pedagogy for different groups, we need to have different types of pedagogy. We need to have a set, or we need to use subsets of these pedagogies in order to provide effective teaching and learning. Now, the other variable in this equation, we may have different instructors, faculty, professors at college and university. Some professors probably still like what is called sage on the stage approach, and some probably they still like the chalk and blackboard technology. For some professors, probably computer and advanced technologies, information technologies are still like a rocket science. But on the other hand, there are the instructors, professors, associate professors that actively use, for example, the headsets, the 3D goggles, 3D e-learning environment. Some professors use the modern, what we call actually smart classroom environment with the group setting and the big screen TVs and high technology everywhere. So the result, again, this is one more reason to have different types of pedagogy in order to use the most effectively for specific course and by specific professor. The other variable in this equation is learning environment. So those of you who are in higher education know that the very traditional is what is called the theater style, when we have big auditorium with the dozens, probably hundreds of students, like 150, 200, 250 students in the same auditorium or class lecture hall simultaneously. However, there may be the totally different approach, such as smart classroom, when we have actually group settings, when we have face-to-face students, and when we have the big screen TVs that provide communication channels with the what we call satellite colleges, when there are the students in the satellite colleges of the same university. So, and there may be simultaneously group virtual students from different satellite colleges. So this is, again, we must identify pedagogy for these different learning environments. There may be universities with of different types, like state universities and private universities. So as a result, large size classrooms, lectures, and small size, different types of budget and breakdown of budget for different universities. So as a result, they will actually provide, at least they will may support different types of pedagogy in their universities. And so many other variables. And during the most recent years, I actually do actively travel from 1972, so for 50 plus years. And during the most recent years, I started to hear more and more travel smart, travel smart. Basically find the optimal balance of your travel components. What is the best hotel, in what area, what is the best mean of transportation, airline or train, which airline, and when do you need to buy tickets, what is the budget, the best budget, and so on and so forth. So we are speaking about travel. This is why I'm surprised that actually, at least I didn't hear a lot about learn smart, teach smart, use smart pedagogy. And students, college, university students these days are very, very picky, very, very select. They select actually the best. So they don't want to take any course, but they, at least because I'm at private university, they will tell you, I want to take this course specifically. And there may be even 2-3 sections of the same course, but with 3 different professors. And they will say, I want to take this course with this specific professor. We've been in situation when we open 2 sections of the same course. One section is full during the enrollment time period in 2 minutes. All 22 seats are taken. And the other section is empty, 0 students for several weeks, several months. So this is, again, our students, they want to learn smart and they want to select courses in a very smart way, courses that are extremely important for their professional career, courses and the outcomes of courses that will help them to get the best or the very good job in industry. So as a result, when we're speaking about smart pedagogy, we need to find the components, set of components that will be the most effective for specific type of student or students. And that will actually would satisfy even Sir Winston Churchill, that said that personally, I'm always ready to learn, although I do not always like being taught. So we need to find the pedagogy that will be best even for this type of learner, so potential virtual learner, so hypothetical learner. So this is why this is the main motivation for us to develop the smart pedagogy. And even the initial projects, such as the projects by, again, introductory projects, initial project, pilot project by Samsung company, IBM company, this showed the very promising results. For example, Samsung company, the at least Brain research firm reported that using the so-called hardware by what is called the Samsung Smart School project, the hardware, corresponding hardware by Samsung. So the overall satisfaction of students increased by 21%, almost 22%. Today, it means a lot. If students are interested to take your course, if students are very satisfied with the outcomes of the course and learning environment, and students reported, this research firm reported that students, based on student feedback, the class convenience, 35% up, the interest in lesson, 29% up, the engagement in lessons, 14% up. Again, for the modern world, modern higher education, these outcomes are very important. So going to the second part of our presentation, our approach to smart pedagogy. It is based on the idea that we are going into the transition from traditional education, traditional organization of university, traditional pedagogy, to the smart university with corresponding smart components, smart pedagogy, smart curriculum, smart software, smart administration, smart campus, based on smart concepts, smartness levels, the concepts of smart university. And additionally, the smartness levels, they actually are synchronized, or they in line with the what is called data, information, knowledge, wisdom continuum. So this is exactly what we need to keep in mind when we're speaking about smartness levels and approaches to smart objects, smart events, smart processes. So we are speaking, excuse me, the data, we must get the big data, millions, hundreds, thousands pieces of data, process data, and get information, useful information that everybody can understand, and process information and get knowledge, and process knowledge, finally get wisdom. So this is just an example. If students get, for example, completed 40 courses in a program of study and got 120 credits, then these are just numbers. However, and this is an example of data, raw data, but if we process this data, and if we divide 120 obtained credits by 40 courses taken, then we arrive with the so-called GPA. So the, excuse me, grade point average. It is equal to 120 divided by 40 to 3.0. Then it tells that this is a good student on average. It is not excellent with 4.0 GPA, but it is a good student. Excuse me. So as a result, we must use this approach. And again, it is in line with the smart levels. There are 6 smartness levels that we recognize, and I believe based on our multi from 2012, we're working in this area, and at least I didn't hear about other levels of smartness, but they are given on this slide. Adaptation, this is ability of an object, let's say, or process, let's say smart university, smart education, or smart pedagogy, modify automatically its teaching, learning strategies, smart pedagogy, infrastructure, components, curriculum, administrative, business functions, safety, physical, behavioral, and other characteristics in order to better operate and perform its main business functions. So this is adaptation. And sensing, this is getting new data. So this is providing dozens, hundreds of sensors that will process data and provide the center, the main server, with these pieces of data. So this is sensing. Inferring, this is the ability of an object to process big data and get information. There's the example that I mentioned about GPA. Self-learning, this is ability to process information and get knowledge. Anticipation, this is ability to predict the future actions, future activities, possible activities or scenarios based on the past. So this is based on different algorithms, and most likely these days, at least based on what is we call machine learning algorithms. And finally, self-optimization, self-organization, self-reconfiguration, recovery. This is wisdom. This is on the level of wisdom, as I showed on the previous slide. So these are 6 levels of smartness that we must use when we're speaking about smart pedagogy, smart university, smart education. And now, if we create a matrix, so this is the from our publications in 2009, then we have these smartness levels: adaptation, sensing, inferring, self-learning, anticipation, self-organization, and the main components of smart university. And they are given here. It is not a comprehensive list, but these are the examples of main components, such as software, hardware, technology, pedagogy, courseware, curriculum, students, faculty, administration, campus, and so on and so forth. So as a result, we get a matrix. So this is smartness levels versus components of a university component matrix. So basically, now we need to populate each cell of this matrix with corresponding specific information about processes such as pedagogy, methods, again, parts of pedagogy, technologies such as, for example, the software systems and hardware systems that we will use in order to support smart education and smart pedagogy, and so on and so forth. And here there are just some kind of examples. When we're talking adaptation, there are the examples from different projects that we performed, as well as examples from different publications of specialists in this area. So smart pedagogy, then it is should provide an easy adaptation to new pedagogy, such as style of learning, learning by doing, flipped classrooms, games-based learning, smart analytics-based learning, and so on and so forth. As well as the smart pedagogy should provide easy adaptation to new types of courses. It can be hybrid courses, totally online courses, it can be massive open online courses, it can be small private online courses, it can be courses for retirees the directed individual studies courses for graduate PhD students, and so on and so forth. So we need to be a smart pedagogy must provide adaptation to the new type of students, new types of courses, because as Mr. Charles Darwin mentioned, it is not the strongest of the species that survives, but the most adaptable to change. So this is exactly what the components are in this matrix. So when we're speaking about sensing, then this is getting the new data. So smart pedagogy should provide corresponding devices, tools to retrieve and store data about students, academic performance, class attendance, class activities, face, voice, gesture recognition systems, and so on and so forth. When we're speaking about inferring, then this is smart pedagogy should employ the so-called smart learning analytics system. At least it doesn't mean that this is the only activity, but this is what at least we implemented, and several other universities. So these systems will process and analyze big data, and using the so-called machine learning algorithms. So they will process information, observation, evidence, and based on machine learning algorithm, they will be able to predict later the behavior, the performance of their students. So, and this is in line with the so-called Gartner's analytics data sentencing model, when we are speaking about 4 levels of data analysis. So we are speaking about descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, and this is primarily about the past data, the data that we received already, and the smartness levels will be employed and actively used, and the corresponding tools and systems for the next 2 levels of data analysis: predictive analytics, primarily what will happen, our prediction, and prescriptive data analytics, how can we make it happen. This is exactly what we and the best universities must deploy the systems. So because it is more or less these days, we collect data, past data, and we process it, and we can create the model of the current situation, current status of the student, of the course, of the department, of the university. However, the new technology, the new development is to deploy systems for predictive analytics. How many students we will get next semester? How many students will be enrolled in our university? And prescriptive analytics, how can we make it happen? How many courses, how many faculty we need for the next semester to teach the new number of the students, new students who will arrive to our university or our department for the next semester. Self-learning, this is again getting the new knowledge, and in terms of smart pedagogy, this is, for example, in our example, this is learning from SWOT analysis. SWOT stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of popularity of different courses. So, and we did this, perform this analysis very regularly. So, and so what types of courses are popular among our students? What type of courses are attractive for students? So as a result, actually, during the most recent 4 years, we increased number of undergraduate students by more than 3 times, 380%. And I can tell you that actually in terms of graduate students, we increased more than between 19, 20, 21, 22, we increased more than 7 times, 700%, because we tried again to implement to analyze what courses, type of courses are interesting for our students. And anticipation, for example, it is the campus-wide safety system to anticipate, recognize different events or activities on campus. And the self-organization, this is part of wisdom. So that this is, for example, smart classroom for smart pedagogy. It is automatic configuration of systems and the lights and the microphones and the computers in accordance with the instructor profile who will teach next class in this room. So again, these are just examples. There are multiple other examples. I believe that we analyzed about 200 examples in this area in our publication. So smart pedagogy, the formal definition is as follows. It is a set of methods and practices of teaching, especially academic subjects or theoretical concepts that provide adaptation, sensing, inferring, anticipation, self-learning, and self-organization or self-optimization for various characteristics or features of learners, students, teachers and faculty, objects, in other words, types of teaching and learning processes, and types of courses, courseware, and classroom labs environment. So this is our definition of smart pedagogy. As you can see, the smartness levels are here in the center of this approach, and the objects, processes, environments that are relevant to higher education, they are also they present in this definition. So now in the third part, I would like to provide you with information, actually a summary of best practices and research outcomes in smart pedagogy. And this is our projects. Again, I can spend a lot of times about the review of other examples, and many of them are described in our publications in the review section. However, here I would like to mention at least what we at Bradley University, in our Interlabs Research Institute, and our Department of Computer Science and Information System, what we obtained in this area. So, as usual, it's easy to say, eldere una cosa, but el faire è una altra. So it's hard to do. So let us see what are our intermediate results in this area. What we did, we analyzed actually from 2000 for 10, 12 most recent year, we analyzed dozens of publications, primarily innovative pedagogy reports by the Open University United Kingdom and the so-called New Media Consortium reports about 50 plus new types of pedagogy. So, and they are given here, and we actually, based on our knowledge and our experience and intuition, we identify those, they are given in the blue color on this slide, that are highly technological, they involve the modern technology, and they are most suitable for the smart pedagogy because they can implement, they can provide the corresponding smartness levels. And they are given here, for example, and these are the some generic specifics of these types of pedagogy. Learning by doing, where the central part is on hands-on learning, active learning with the active hands-on exercises during the classroom. For example, 40, 30 minutes of lecturing of a new concept, and after that, 10, 15, 20 minutes of completion of hands-on exercises and immediate. So during the lecturing, students observe information, they process information, and they create their own knowledge. And after that, we ask them immediately to apply this knowledge to solve a problem. Games-based learning and gamification. So this is goal-directed practice. Learning analytics, so smart learning analytics. So this is the pedagogy that is based on influence of student behavior. So we can actually intervene into the student behavior. Adaptive teaching, collaborative learning, when there are the groups of students and they actually work on the same or different projects, and after that they provide actually their learning outcome. So the result, it is a learning from collaboration with the other groups. So ebooks, student-generated learning content, when student-generated the learning content, primarily not in the new, brand new theoretical topic, but probably when it is necessary to have what is called breadth-wise approach on new features of already the topic that was discussed in the classroom. Flipped classroom, when it is necessary for students to learn a designated topic or complete designated assignment before the classroom. Bring your own device approach, smart agents and self-learning, and so on and so forth. So I would like to mention that, and here this is our smart pedagogy in action, the examples. This is our classroom, our students, our faculty who are involved. And I would like to mention that for some types of smart pedagogy, we need to have smart classrooms. So as a result, we need to have either like this one or like this one, like this one. So for some types, definitely it is necessary to have, and we do have. So this is probably, you can recognize me. So this is a classroom with the computers that are actually 24 interactive, can be like desktop computers or tablets, and the 84-inch smart board and the 3D projectors. And on the left side, there are the, this is the set of technology. On the left side, there are the big screen TVs where students can work with the students from satellite research groups or satellite colleges, or from anywhere in the world. So students can work together. So the first one is the learning by doing smart pedagogy. Again, this is our implementation. Probably other researchers, they have their own implementation of this pedagogy. But the central part, there are several components, but the central part is amongst that students, we ask them to complete in-classroom exercises very, very often. And the feedback that we got from students, so if students are neutral, they don't like, they don't like this technology, or they like this technology, they are neutral, then we ask them to, it is like 1 point. If they somewhat like this technology, 2 points. And if they don't, if they like very much, then it is 3 points. And so the maximum what we can get for average is 3 points. So out of about 23 students that we got for this specific project, then you can see that the average for undergraduate students was 2.57 average grade. However, for graduate students, it was 2.70. So the average for both graduates and undergraduate students is 2.63. So we consider it as a very high. So again, the maximum is 3.0. So students like it very much. So, but students reported that they like it, and primarily why? Because it helped them to prepare them for real life and in industry when it is necessary to learn how to complete specific projects and tasks. So flipped classroom, again, our own implementation is that we ask students to complete some assignments before the actual class, and after that discuss their outcomes and discuss their problems probably that they had or their achievements in the classroom. We found that this is a very good pedagogy, smart pedagogy for courses that have very significant lab components. For example, in my case, it was when I asked students to complete labs on time management in software development, project management, for project cost management, for project risk management. So this flipped classroom pedagogy is very good. So the average undergraduate and graduate students that we got is 2.19. The gamification or games-based learning. So primarily here we use actually the different types of badges, different types of awards for students, and different types of tools that will make the learning, such as not it is games for entertainment, but it is games for education, serious games, what we call. So we expected actually even much higher outcomes. However, undergraduate students, at least you can see 1.87, and graduate students 2.4. So the average is 2.12 when we're speaking about games-based learning. The example of the smart learning analytics, as we discussed, there are the descriptive analytics, predictive analytics, different types of analytics. So as a result here, so we have actually the examples of descriptive analytics, the diagnostic analytics, and the predictive analytics and prescriptive analytics. Later, it's here. And interestingly enough, actually, just again, I can discuss probably for 2 hours the outcomes, but when we ask students, do you want instructor today to predict level of your analytical, technical, management, communication skills based on your performance? I mean, predict by the end of this course, of course. Then interestingly enough, that actually some students were not so enthusiastic about this. So 23%, when we ask, do you want to predict and show to all classmates without names? We cannot provide any names of students, but actual how many students actually provide are at risk by the end of the course. At risk means that they will not be able to complete it. Then you can see that actually some students were not happy about this. So about this kind of bad news. So this is why I'm honestly speaking a little bit surprised that actually Napoleon Bonaparte, the Emperor Napoleon, said that actually it disturbed me and wake me in the case of bad news immediately. So good news can wait. So, and again, I was a little bit surprised to get this, but probably again, we students should learn, and attendees of our class should learn and change their attitude. And prescriptive analytics. So in general, when we're speaking about learning analytics-based pedagogy, when we constantly, every time students can get information about their academic performance, then it is about 222 undergraduate students and 252. So when about 86% of students like this smart pedagogy. And the most recent results are on virtual reality, so-called or extended reality pedagogy, when we have virtual environment. It is very heavily based on the VR technology. So you can see the corresponding devices, and Mr. John Doran, my graduate students, actually completed thesis, and these are the outcomes from his thesis. So basically, in summary, so these are the at least pedagogies, a set that I mentioned in my presentation. We have many other results. The set of pedagogies that were developed and used at our department, Computer Science and Information System Department at Bradley University. So you can see the different types of smart pedagogy. You can see average undergraduate scores, where 3 is maximum, average graduate score, graduate students. So the maximum is 269 and 270, about 2.7. And the average graduate plus undergraduate is given on this slide. So virtual reality and learning by doing, at least today, are the leaders among components. Smart pedagogies, again, smart pedagogies has multiple components, multiple types of smart pedagogy. So we, as a professional educators in higher education, we should select specific subsets of these smart pedagogies for our classes, for our given types of students, for our given type of learning environment. So in the section 4, I would like to mention quickly, because of time, I would like to mention about faculty and smart pedagogy. Definitely, there is a direct relationship between them. Why? Because we need faculty should understand, as well as administration of higher education institutions must understand that we need to have a corresponding type of educators. So it doesn't matter what is the age of educators. It matters their knowledge, their in new technology, new types of pedagogy, their excuse me, willingness to implement smart pedagogy in their classes. So this is, again, faculty is a very important part. And faculty should understand that in accordance with so-called Edgar Dale code of learning, then the smart pedagogy provide advanced learning for in the classes where students can complete exercises by themselves using what is called hands-on experience, where students can say or write, or where they can immediately apply their knowledge during the lecturing, whatever, 20, 30, 40-minute piece of class lecturing, they obtain the data, and they process data, getting information, and they process information, they are getting knowledge, and they apply this knowledge immediately to solve a designated problem, where students can hear and see. And these are what is called retention factors. So how long the students will retain the knowledge. So for whatever, 75, 95%, and so on and so forth. And the second piece of information here is the so-called Rogers typology. This is basically the relationship between faculty and the innovation. So faculty and as well as administrators, chair of departments, deans, associate provosts should understand that there will be always, when we're speaking about innovative pedagogy, innovative technology, educational technology, there will be innovators 2 to 3%, and it is not me, it is in accordance with the Rogers typology. So it is necessary to identify these innovators and provide them, support them to implement new technology, new pedagogy, smart pedagogy in the education. About 10–15% of early adopters, they will not be probably whatever innovators, but they will adopt, and they said that, okay, I'm interested in implementation of this technology or pedagogy. However, there will be early majority, 30–35%, late majority, 30–35%, and conservative minority, about 12–15%. It is necessary to keep this Rogers typology in mind. It is necessary to identify these innovators, as well as it is necessary to know that there will be always somebody who will say, oh no, this is, we don't need this. Sounds familiar? So yeah, the so-called Luddites, so those who actually oppose to any innovation or industrialization of new technology. As well as it is necessary to always to know that in higher education institutions, it is difficult to make changes. And it is not me, but it is Mr. Woodrow Wilson, extremely knowledgeable person, the great vision, with great vision, who was president of the first of all, president of Princeton University, at that time, the best university in the United States. And after that, the president of the United States. So, and he actually said that changing university is like moving a cemetery, the idea, but this is the full exact saying. It is easier to change the location of a cemetery than to change a school curriculum. So it is necessary to be ready that there will be a difficult process. But for those of us who are innovators, we're ready. I believe that we're happy to have problems and to solve problems, to solve the technical problems. And finally, our invitation for collaboration. Why? Because none of us as smart as all of us. And this is the very well-known, I believe, Japanese proverb. And my colleagues, my friends in Japan, I have a lot of them in Japan. I taught in Japan a lot. So I believe that it is true. We invite our guests, our attendees of this presentation to join our community of practitioners, educators, innovators, experts, researchers, PhD students, master students, administrators who are in SEAL community, smart education and in learning community. So as a result, these topics, smart university, smart pedagogy, smart classroom, smart systems, smart educational technology are in the center of our discussions. So you're very welcome to join us. We actually have the annual conference, and it is organized by KES International Association. This year in 22, it will be at Rhodos Island, Greece. So it will be, as I've been informed, in both virtual and in-person modes. So, but you're very welcome to join. Even if you didn't submit any papers, then you are very welcome to be the visitor. So please contact KES International and please visit this website and you will find the corresponding information. So for those of you who want to organize their own session, you're very welcome. This is the advantage of our conference, that we invite, we consider it is as a some kind of playground for researchers. It is like a hub to exchange the ideas. Please, you are very welcome to arrive and to organize session, to arrive with your own group, make presentation. Please see how many special sessions we will have this year conference. I believe as of today, 5 of them on different topics that are relevant to smart pedagogy, smart university, smart education, smart e-learning. And proposal number 3, you're very welcome to join us this year. The book actually will be, the master copy should be ready in 2 weeks, so probably it is a little bit to submit your papers, but to read, at least to be aware about the current status of advances in smart education, smart e-learning, smart pedagogy, you are very welcome to obtain this book that will be published in June of 2022. At the end, I would like to give a special thanks. They go to the KES International Association. So we've been very lucky, by we I mean our SEAL community, to collaborate with KES International and to work together. It is definitely win collaboration. And I would like to thank them for their kind invitation to make this invited presentation. And to all attendees of this presentation, so you gave me your time, the most thoughtful gift of all, as William Shakespeare said there. So as a result, I would like to thank you for attending this presentation. And at the end, this is my contact information. You are very welcome to contact me on topic of this presentation or any other relevant topic. And I truly believe that if we want to change the future, then we must actually change what we are doing today in the present. Thank you very much for this presentation. And at this moment, I would like to stop sharing. And I would like to turn back to the KES International.
We've got a question in. It's come from Vladimir Uskov. How have your opinion and views on smartness and smart universities changed since your first studies? And how long have you been considering these issues?
We started this project in 2012. And it was actually at that time, they were only the first experiments with what is called with the a smart classroom. And Professor Xi from the Tsinghua University in China, so they were definitely the leaders in this, where they had actually the classes with between Tsinghua University and Kyoto University in Japan, and with automatic translation from Japanese to Chinese and back. Several other universities, for example, Arizona State University, they created the smart classroom with the different devices like PDAs, and they were connected, interconnected. Smart classrooms, smart campuses, University of Hong Kong and in Romania, one of the universities. So there were like sparks. However, I believe that actually from around 2017, 18, probably 4 or 5 years after this initial wave, so we have a more systematic approach. And right now, we are not speaking about sparks, but we are speaking about areas. We got some kind of mass. It is not critique mass yet, but we are close to the, we got a very good mass in different areas, such as we know what are the requirements for smart campus. We know what are the requirements to smart classrooms. And I have actually budget in my presentation. If this attendee wants to get details on how much is the budget, I can provide this information. We have mass in achievements, advances on smart pedagogy, and so on and so forth. And I can tell you that even officially, the first smart university in the world is in Dubai, in United Arab Emirates. So even it is that I'm sorry with the name, but again, officially it is smart university. When students enter the building, then they recognize the faces, who is with the video cameras and the TVs, the information. So the panels, wall panels with the information. So we officially got the first smart university in the world. So we are I expect them in upcoming 2, 3, 5 years, we will get the critique mass in different components of universities, smart universities, and we will start getting more fully smart universities. At least this is my opinion.
That's great. Once again, I'd like to thank yourself and thank everyone for joining us today for this KES Talks.
Thank you.